Well, okay, guys, it's been 3 hours for our slab of salmon. Let's open her up and take a look. We should be ready to come off of that. Oh, oh my. That looks just lovely. Absolutely delicious, guys. Smoke flavor. It's like eating candy. You down with TTT? Okay guys, today we are going to smoke a salmon for you. And right now I have the salmon in the wet brine. I will give you my complete salmon wet brine recipe. We've got salt, natural cane sugar, teriyaki sauce, soy sauce, lemon zest, garlic powder, and onion powder. That's it. I whisk all that up and put the salmon skin up in cold water. I do not trim my salmon prior to brining. So I've stuck it in the freezer here just to get it nice and chilled. The water was already cold, right? And of course there's about 3/4 of a gallon of water in there to make sure that all of the salmon is staying submerged. All right, so I'm gonna brine this for 3 hours in the wet brine. I'll take it out of the freezer. I won't let it freeze or anything, but after it's nice and chilled, I'll add some ice, let it continue to set for a full 3 hours, and then we'll get it on the smoker. Yes, here is the lemon zest that I put in that brine water for the salmon. You want to peel it really, really thin. I recommend you use a nice peeler. And you don't want the whites. You just want the yellow. The white is more sour, so you want the yellow zest in your brine. I think it's very important. You could also do some orange zest if you wanted to. I just like the lemon. Okay guys, our lovely slab of salmon has been in the brine for 3 full hours. I flipped it over just before taking it out here. We're gonna move it right on over to a dry rack. There we go. Now we're gonna let that drain off, and we're gonna do just a little bit of trimming. I don't worry about trimming all the belly fat off when I'm smoking, because fat is flavor. See, we got a little spices from our brine there. It's okay. We're just going to let that dry. Let the surface dry really good. And then we'll be ready to put it on the smoker. Throw your brine away. It's finished. FYI, for your information, after soaking in the brine for 3 hours, your salmon meat is softening up quite a bit. What I was able to do is just individually pull those bones out without having to cut or lose any meat. So the bones run right along the center here to about here at the end of the belly, and then from there was no bone. So I was able to pull those out individually because that meat is so soft. Isn't that a neat trick? Do your boning after the brine. Don't waste meat. Now, I'm not going to trim any of this fat off of there. We're going to smoke it just like that, guys. Okay, guys, I just put that beautiful slab of salmon on the smoker. We got a nice fire going down here. I just put a stick of smoking wood on there on top of a small bed of coals. We'll close that up. Going to close her down. We don't have any spice or anything on there. We don't want anything but salmon and smoke flavor for this first section. We'll worry about doing some additional flavors later on. So we just have our freshly brined, very soft, all the bones pulled out, piece of salmon, and our wonderful flavored fruit wood smoke. Let's lock her down and let the smoking begin. Chamber is smoking, guys. But we do not need to open this thing at all. If we want to increase the temperature, we can open the damper. See how clean our smoke is. But our temperature is running just perfect. Just above 200 degrees, about 220, 230. Perfect to smoke that salmon. If you're looking, you ain't cooking. No reason to open. Smoking this thing for 3 hours. I am going to open it on the 2-hour mark and do a little brush basting with some additional flavors. But again, in my opinion, other than the brine that we soaked the salmon in for 3 hours, I don't want to add much spice. I want the overwhelming smoked salmon flavor to be the main tasty ingredient. But we will do a little glaze brush, and I'll show you that at the 2-hour mark. Let her sit. Let her smoke. Beautiful, beautiful smoke in that chamber. Alright guys, we've been smoking at around 250 for about an hour and a half. Whoa, look at that. First reveal. Look at that pinnacle. Now that is normal to have that oozing of the fat come out. Don't worry about that. Check the internal temp. 127. We want to be at 145 when we're finished. This is a really good time to put a little glaze on there. Let's do some glazing. Okay, and what I like is a honey and orange. So you got the sweet and the citrus with the little brown sugar. We're just going to start a little glazing process while we continue to smoke this beautiful fillet. Again, we don't want to overwhelm the salmon with the glaze. We want to make sure that the smoked salmon is the main flavor profile. The glaze just adds a little citrus, sour, and sweetness. You see how quick it thins down with the heat. Alright, we're going to close this puppy back up and keep infusing some of that beautiful smoke wood into this salmon. Very, very nice. Alright, close her down. Let's get her smoking some more. Okay guys, it's been 3 hours for our slab of salmon. Let's open her up and take a look. We should be ready to come off of that. Nice smoke. Very, very nice smoke. Oh my. That looks just lovely. Oh yeah. That looks gorgeous. Oh, we are at 148, guys. That is perfect. 147 there. So we are good. Not overcooked, but we are fully smoked. 145 is all you need for fish. You do not need a high internal temp of 165 like you would for a piece of pork, for example. We have not moved it the entire time of the 3-hour smoke. It is skinned down. We have not rotated it. We have not changed positions. All right, I think we can get her down there now, guys. Let's see. Oh, that's what we wanted. Well, let's take a look at this. We want to get a little glaze on there. Let her cool down. See her skin kind of pulled away real easy. So I highly recommend you leave the skin on there. Adds flavor and it's a protector of the meat itself. So while she's still hot, go ahead, just another little brush. Look at that. Like I say, the thickness of that glaze thins down real quick with the heat. Just want to add another layer of flavor. We don't want to overwhelm it. Like I say, this has honey, brown sugar, orange, a little bit of tanginess with some Dijon mustard and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So got the sweet and the sour and the tang. That's it, guys. Now we're just going to let her cool on the dry rack. Let her rest before we even think about taking a slice. Ooh, ain't she beautiful? Okay, guys, little pro tip while she's cooling off on the dry rack. I don't want it to dry out, so I wrapped it completely with cellophane plastic. I go completely underneath the pan so that it's completely sealed. It cannot get any air, and that allows that glaze and the moisture inside the salmon to remain while it's cooling down. Very important, especially if you're going to cut it into steaks and then vacuum seal it and put it in the fridge or freezer to preserve it. So you're going to let it cool all the way down. You can even put it in the refrigerator wrapped like this, maintain the moisture within the meat, and then get it out, carve it up, put it in your vacuum sealed bags. The best way. If you're going to store it, you're not going to eat the whole thing or serve a party of 6 or something, right? Wrap it, guys. Wrap it and seal it tight. There's no way any air can get in this thing. Completely around the pan. Seal that moisture in. Not gonna lie, guys, it turned out absolutely amazing. Was a little difficult to cut and keep into decent sections because it is so tender, it's just falling apart, but not dry at all. The skin came right off the backside, no problem. Absolutely delicious, guys. Smoke flavor. I'm telling you, follow this recipe, follow these steps, and you will love some sockeye smoked salmon. It's like eating candy. You don't want to stop. Thanks for watching.